Hey funnel builders, how are you doing? Mike here. Do you find that your calls with leads or prospects often turn into free coaching calls? This is a real big problem for a lot of businesses, especially service businesses. Partly this is because when you offer a free strategy call or free consultation call, we do it, with the free sort of 10-minute one-on-one, I think we call them freedom calls, like brainstorming calls, smash audits, or even if you do a longer, like 45-minute call, or even if you've gone all the way through to the proposal stage. Do you often find that you're answering a lot of questions from the customer, and then it sometimes feels that, oh, well, I don't really know how to transition into a sale? The reason this happens, by the way, is because the customer's over here, you are here. There is a sliding scale on how a call is run. They are essentially looking for advice, and ideally they want it to be free. Okay? You, however, are looking to make a sale. So when you jump into the call, they're going to be trying to position all the way down here, and you're positioned all the way down here. And it can sometimes feel easier to slowly increment your way down here and hopefully think, well, if I answer their questions and if I provide enough value, eventually they'll want to learn more about the program, and then eventually they'll want to learn more about me, and then eventually they'll want to buy. And this is a really big problem because we think that by giving lots of answers, that is how we convince them to make a sale. This is born of a massive misinterpretation of the idea that in order to make sales easier, you have to give education, you have to give advice, or in other words, answers. And you have to be seen as an authority. And people think this makes an easier sale. Now, the reason that none of this makes an easier sale is because if someone is really far down this end of the scale, they have to get past a certain barrier here in order to make a sale, right? So if they're down here and you only give them free advice, they are never going to transition into a sale. You might also be wasting your time giving free advice to someone who is never going to buy from you. This is really well summed up in the book The Coaching Habit by Michael Bungay Steiner, and he talks about these 7 questions. And if anyone has ever had a conversation with me, you'll know that I ask these questions back to people. The common misconception is that we think, well, in order to make an easier sale, I need to educate the customer and I need to position myself as an authority. And in order to position myself as an authority, I want to give the best advice possible. So they come to you with a problem and they say, look, whatever you might do, they say, look, our traffic is really low. And you think, well, I know how to fix this. So I'm going to give them the solution, which is whatever it might be, content, for example. And you go through all that process of giving that information. And let's say that you sell a content marketing service. You give them all the information. You then say, well, maybe you'd like to jump on a call with us and we can have or maybe you'd like to work alongside us. This fundamentally doesn't work. The reason this doesn't work is because all you're trying to do is give advice up here and answers. I've spelled answers wrong, don't worry about it. This will keep you in what I call the advice trap, and it will just go round and round and round and round and round and round and round. Let me know in the comments down below if you have ever felt that you are going round and round and that basically all of your calls with leads and prospects basically turn into free coaching calls. Here's what I want you to do instead. This is where we use in the 7-figure freedom program, we use something called the velvet rope. So the idea is that you have your audience over here, and you basically have a sale here. In between, you have 2 stages, which people constantly forget. You have qualify and sell. Most people try to jump straight to sell, as in funnel builders, they try to jump straight to sell. And what they do is they give lots of advice, or they give lots of answers. Can't spell answers today. Instead, what we need to do is get onto qualify and ask a ton of questions And I mean literally just questions. How many clients do you work with right now? How many would you like to work with? What's your average sale price? How are you attracting these customers right now? What kind of budget do you have to work with? Are you the decision maker? What do you think's broken within the business? What do you think works well within the business? And eventually you'll uncover their true problem. Here's the really interesting part. And it's the same with selling, by the way. We just ask questions. A lot of people don't have faith that the questions they're asking could have enough value in them for people to go, oh my God, this was really well worth it. I do a lot of sales coaching, as in I have sales coaches. I have people who coach me on my sales strategy. I have people who coach me on my physical health. I have people who coach me on my financial management and my management styles. They will spend the majority of their time asking questions for a few reasons. At its very broadest point, the reality is if someone is qualified and they've got the budget, they have already decided whether they're going to buy from you. That is the truth. They decide pretty early on, but they need to make that choice themselves. They need to sell to themselves. So instead, if we just ask questions, we can uncover the root of what they're really trying to achieve. And when we get to that point, it becomes so much easier to prescribe them something much, much quicker. On our sales calls of about 45 minutes to an hour, I will talk for maybe 10 minutes-ish. Not even that. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't even that. I will spend all this time asking questions and asking people. I mean, we have it written out as a script, but what's the biggest things you're struggling with in the business? Where do you want to be? Why aren't you there now? What are you struggling with? And by continually asking those questions are actually what positions someone towards making a sale. It's really easy for us to jump into, well, I'll give as much advice as possible. And in actual fact, what you should be doing is asking as many questions as possible. And ironically, that is the best way for them to see you as an authority, by asking the right questions and helping them uncover the answer. They are more likely to commit to the idea of they think it was their idea. And they'll get to that if you ask them the right questions repeatedly. If you do want to jump onto one of our 10-minute calls, head to go.sellyourservice.co.uk/freedom, or I'll put the link underneath the video here in the comments. And you can basically brain dump a load of ideas with us, and we'll brainstorm a load of problems with you and figure out what the top 3 things are that are preventing you from doubling the revenue in your business. Go ahead and book in one of those sessions with either me or a member of my team. I'd love to catch up with you guys. In the meantime, if this was useful, let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, I will see you in another video. Have courage, commit, and take action. Cheers, guys.